صنعاء ومسقط عماني ويا دمشق بلاد الشام.
After 12 consecutive years at the helm of Israeli politics, Benjamin Netanyahu could be on the way out. Right-wing opposition leader Naftali Bennett has just announced that he's ready to form a new government, although Netanyahu himself is refusing to budge. Let's get the latest from RT's Paula Slier in Tel Aviv now. Paula, good to see you. So, two of the opposition parties now look close to forming a coalition deal. Could you tell us what's happened and how the Prime Minister has reacted?
Well, we have heard from Naftali Bennett, as you correctly said, who is the leader of the right-wing Yamina party. Yamina is the Hebrew word meaning right. Now, he has announced that he is joining with the opposition leader Yair Lapid. Together, they have 61 mandates. They need just 61 to be able to form the next majority coalition because the Israeli parliament comprises of 120 seats. The next step now is for them to approach the president of the country, Reuven Rivlin. Essentially Lapid, as the opposition leader, is tasked with doing this by Wednesday. And once he informs the president that he is able to form the next majority coalition, there are 8 days in which Netanyahu remains prime minister and in which the new coalition comes into being. So we're still looking at another 11 days, which in Israeli politics is a hell of a long time. So nothing is closed just yet. Now, Bennett said that the reason he was doing this was because you've had here 4 elections in the space of 2 years. Israeli politics are just not moving forward. You have a situation that is incredibly unstable. And Bennett saying that he was really coming forward with this surprise move because don't forget he represents parties on the right and he's joining now with parties in the center and on the left and Arab parties. They don't have a lot in common. It's going to be a very fragile coalition. But Bennett making the point that he was doing this to try and ensure some kind of stability on the Israeli political spectrum.
Over the last 4 rounds of elections, we have seen our country weakening itself, damaging itself and losing its ability to function. We see ministers who are fighting with each other, who do not manage anything. We have seen riots and the burning of synagogues in Lod and Akka. Instead of managing and leading, their method is to spread hatred and polarization between the people of our country to conceal their own failure.
Now, the idea of this new majority coalition, assuming that it comes into being, will see Bennett as the next Israeli Prime Minister for a period of 2 years, followed by Lapid for a period of 2 years. Now, the Israeli Prime Minister, of course, is rather distraught about this. A short time ago, he did give an address in which, although he was talking to the nation, essentially, he was really talking to those 61 politicians that are forming part of this majority coalition and saying to them, your coming together is so fragile, you're not going to be able to make any kind of decisions on real issues. Why don't one of you at least come and join me? And you need just one of them to decide that they're not part of that coalition, and then that whole coalition fails. So Netanyahu, of course, concerned because he's been in power for 12 years, the longest period we've ever seen an Israeli prime minister at the helm. And this could essentially spell the end for his political career. But on the other hand, 11 days is a long time in Israeli politics and a lot can change. And all of this is happening at a particularly delicate time for Israel. We saw recently a 11-day conflict between Israel and Gaza. The ceasefire is holding, but both sides are taking stock of what they lost during that violence. At the same time, Israel has been witnessing some of the worst riots, particularly between Jewish Israeli and Arab Israelis, that it's witnessed in years. So you have a very delicate situation that all of this political wrangling is coming against the backdrop of.
Many thanks for keeping us updated, Paula. That's RT's Paula Slier in Tel Aviv.